Tory MP Iain Duncan Smith warned the EU's plan to drop Britain from its Galileo satellite project after Brexit is part of a Brussels plot to get the UK to cough up more money in order to remain part of the programme. Speaking on BBC Radio 4's Week in Westminster, Mr. Duncan Smith said, "It speaks to, I think, a couple of bits of manoeuvring from one or two countries in Europe, particularly in France, an attempt to try and tweak the UK tail as we go through this, the idea that somehow the UK, who has one of the deepest and strongest relationships on security for both Europe and with the USA, will somehow be a risk almost makes you laugh. The reality is this is a game about tweaking us and probably, I suspect at the end of the day, to try and get us to cough up more money because they are very short of cash at the moment in the project." Getty BloombergBrexit News. It's warns EU is using its space project to get more money out of Britain. The reality is this is a game about tweaking us and, I suspect, to try and get us to cough up more money. Iain Duncan Smith. UK space chiefs have already warned European companies are ready to take over work being done in Britain once the UK leaves the EU. British companies are working on an eighth share of the work on the Galileo project. Aeronautics company Airbus also hit out at EU's plans and warned the UK's involvement in the Galileo project is critical to the partnership. Airbus chief executive Tom Enders called on Britain and the European Commission to urgently find a solution. Mr. Enders demanded Brussels must reconsider plans to exclude Britain from the €10 billion EU Galileo space programme after Brexit. He said, the UK's continued participation in the EU Galileo programme will ensure security and defence ties are strengthened for the benefit of Europe as a whole, during a period of increasing threats to our security and geopolitical instability, he added. Maintaining and enhancing security and defence ties across Europe is vital for all citizens across the continent, irrespective of the UK's membership in not of the EU. The UK is an important part of Europe geographically, economically, and culturally, and must play an integral role for our mutual security. Moreover, Britain is one of only two serious powers in Europe